So, unfortunately, one of our guys, Peter, has broken his leg, and we've had to get the rescue chopper in. Alrighty, so day 2 of riding. We're just weaving our way out of our campsite at Popel's Corner. Had a nice fire last night, steaks, onion and jacket potatoes over the fire. Very, very nice meal. Some nice sipping whiskey. We had a few drops of rain, so called it a bit early. But yeah, we're just coming up here to see what the lake crossing looks like. Pass required beyond this point. Yep, we got those sorted. Not bad. Dries out quick here with the wind. So we've had to abort going across the most direct route from Popel's across towards out there. So we had to take the northern bypass and see how we go up where the lake is narrow. Potentially could add 75 kilometres, but the weather is what the weather is. Not much we can do about it except deal with it. Worst things to be doing than riding behind Johnny on his new ADVRider. He's enjoying. Seem to have fixed the oil leak in Sven's 690. Got the forks lined up a bit better as well, so they're good. Like I say, worst places to be, worst things to be doing. Good work. Boys, but they weren't waiting for us. Yes, well, we are now at 10:36 on the other side from where we were this morning at about 7:45. But you can see it could have been a little challenging in a couple of spots. There's still standing water. So yeah, the rest of the group's all rolling in. Yeah, the guys are coming around the edge of the lake, but if they'd gone down in there, that would have been curtains.
Yep. I don't know what happened then.
It happens.
Must have been up on that. Thank you.
All good?
Yeah.
It's a nice lizard. It is easy to lose your front end on this stuff because of the hard pack underneath from the rain, etc., with soft crap on top. So the easiest way is to be aggressive through the corners, but yeah, I haven't put it down yet, but sure I will at some point. Peter dropped it.
I'm lazily trying to conserve energy today.
Oh yeah.
Pardon?
Bit sandier now.
Yeah. I just fell off back there.
Yeah. On the corner.
Yeah, I think it burned like that and I went around.
Yeah.
And the front was
Hey.
yeah.
I'm assuming it's all just like this now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Like that.
Conserve energy.
All right. Well, I'm not going to speculate on anything here. I'm just going to present you with the facts. So here's the map of the Simpson Desert Reserve. And as you can see, it's 332 kilometres from Popal Corner to Mount Dare. It's 255 kilometres to Dalhousie Springs. And if you have a look on the original itinerary, it was, so the dates are out by a day because of weather and delays and stuff, but we were to go from Simpson Camp number 1 to Dalhousie Hot Springs for dinner on the second day in the desert, day number 2. You know, just for way of context, it had taken us all day to go the 165 kilometres day 1, you know, to go from Birdsville, where we did have to unload the buggy, but that was about the only additional thing. And we rolled in there pretty late afternoon. And it had been scheduled to go 255 kilometres to Dalhousie, as per the, you know, if you want to go back and have a look at the meal schedule, which had the days and everything on it. And then breakfast in the morning at Dalhousie, according to the plan, at the Springs, which sounded fantastic. That would have been so good. But you know, now we were expected to go to Dalhousie, but by 2 p.m. we'd done the loop up around the top of the lake after Popals. Again, weather had caused this. This was out of anyone's control. But there were some things that were, you know, worrying, and that is, you know, just simple things like how long it took to cook up lunch, which was done on microwaves. And, you know, I mean, there's 5 riders and 4 drivers, and each of the meals was frozen. And, you know, just simple things like Rowan pointed out, that if we knew that we were having those for lunch, they could have been put out in the back seats of the vehicles or whatever to defrost. But, you know, they were done on the microwave one at a time, both needing 2 times to heat up. And, you know, it just took longer than it should. Anyway, I'd been informed fairly clearly that my opinions on these kinds of things weren't required, because I was just along and I wasn't, part of the organisation that was making, these plans. I was along for the ride. And at a bit after 2:30 in the afternoon, we were told to set off for Mount Dare from the intersection here at Irabina Track, where Rowan was going to take over the trailer, and with the 2 bikes on it, and him and Simon were going to head down the Irabina Track, which was supposed to be good travelling, and we were going to continue that afternoon all the way to Mount Dare, where there was accommodation, because it was pretty apparent that the guys with the 4-wheel drives weren't going to make it in time. And I mean, I'd been told that was what was going to happen and not to question it. But, Rowan saw the look on my eyes as I was trying to decide which helmet to wear, because I only had a helmet with a dark visor or, goggles, which were also tinted. So I guess maybe at this point we should go to my video from heading off from there.
Here we are, just heading off in the afternoon towards Mount Dare, and I'm not quite sure how far that is. The sign back there said it was 190 kilometres to Dalhousie, and I'm not sure how far further from there to Mount Dare. This is the washing machine section of the Simpson, so it's often described as the hardest part, and at the moment, like there, you can see that there's nowhere to really rest. You're standing in between like this, if I'm being perfectly honest, I'm probably a little jealous of the guys on the 500s, but don't tell them. The guys in the 4-wheel drives, Rowan stepped up and he's put the trailer with the 2 bikes on behind his 4-wheel drive, even though he's just along as a paying customer like us. They've headed down track to the south, and then they're going to be turning to the west, same as us. Soft sand, and I'm not sure where the saving and that's going to be, because they've still got to cover the same distance west. So Rowan saw the look on my face, and I've been told to keep my opinion to myself, but he said, "What do I think?" And I said, "Well, I think the chances of success are very slim, and but I'm curious to find out how it turns out." And he said, "Why is that?" And I said, "Well, I've only got a dark helmet or goggles, so we're stepping up the distance as well. We're going a little bit further between each break, up to 25 minutes, and going to have to do that now, but obviously the sun's going to set, and George is following, but my my gear's all in Simon's truck. So yeah, we'll just push on and try and cover some distance through this crappy section and see how we go, I guess. So yeah, check back later. Well, unfortunately, before we got to the first rest break, Peter had put his leg down going up a one of the steeper hills on the eastern side of the dune and twisted his foot right around and broken his tibia and fibia, unfortunately. So we got the call, well, when I say we got the call, the buggy satellite phone got the call, and we were told to head back carefully. So we did, and the X marks the spot of roughly how far we got, and then how far we sort of had to go back, about halfway. At that point, it was apparent that we were going to have to camp for the night with Peter. And so, you know, we realised that, well, George had his pop-up tent on top of the Navara, and Sven had his gear in the Navara, but all the rest of our gear was either in Simon's vehicle, like mine, or Rowan's vehicle. And unfortunately, they had headed down the Irabina track, which is between dunes, and gone quite a distance down there, and then turned west on the WOA line, which was unfortunately as slow going for them as ours was for us. So I don't have the exact position of those guys when we got back to Peter, but then we quickly realised, you know, they were well out of UHF range, and you know, George and Cooper had the two satellite phones with them. So I got a message at that stage from Peter with his Garmin InReach to mine, which came up on my GPS. And so we said, well, you know, how can we contact the other two four-wheel drives? And they didn't have a satellite phone, but Rowan did have an InReach. Unfortunately, none of us had Rowan's InReach address. So I had Peter's and I had Johnny's, but we just swapped them between us, you know, assuming that our sweep rider for the trip, Jimmy, had one as well, but on that day and the first day, he didn't actually have either radio or an InReach. He didn't have an InReach until, or maybe the third day he had one, but couldn't connect it to his phone because he didn't have the app, and then couldn't do that until they got cell phone signal, because you use the app to send messages. So in the background, while all of this has been happening, you know, I haven't talked about the alternator that went out on Simon's BT50, you know, which made his battery go flat, and the guys were running a generator with a charger. That's a whole thing that happened on the way around the lake on the morning of day 2, which is one of the reasons it took us so long to go around. We had been conversing via InReach, and occasionally, I guess the satellite phones, I don't know, with Jack
and Phil, who broke his leg and couldn't come on the trip, and Jack, who was waiting to join us in Mount Isa. So they'd been backwards and forwards a little bit on the phone, but none of them had had contact with Rowan either. But luckily they knew someone in Victoria who had been on a ride with Rowan and did have his inReach, and miraculously he had it turned on. So I got his address off Jack via his inReach in the Gold Coast and messaged Rowan. So it was a little bit of mucking around. And the long and the short of it is that's why they went so far down the WAA line. And it's, well and truly dusk by this stage. And finally got a message to them, and they turned around in between dunes and had their own adventure getting back to us. And they rolled in around 10:15, 10:30 that night. So, it was pretty chaotic and hectic day to not go that far, cosmically speaking. So that was us. Jimmy went above and beyond, and he stayed literally up on the hill where Peter was, where he injured himself, and he was set up with his sleeping bag and his broken leg propped up in as comfortable a position as he could, because he'd been messaging backwards and forwards and even talked on the satellite phone to the guys at the helicopter rescue, who I've got the video there of the helicopter coming and a little bit of it going. But I'm not going to put any footage of Peter or anything. You saw him there in action on his bike, pulled up next to me. And, I got to say that poor planning and, things that happened, in my opinion, led to bad decisions, which, was one of the contributing factors for the accident. And, I'm just stating my opinion and the facts there. And, you can do with that what you will. But that's the end of this video. And the drama doesn't stop there, and there's plenty more to come. So, hey, if you've liked it, give it a thumbs up, drop us a message, comment, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers.
So, unfortunately, one of our guys, Peter, has broken his leg, and we've had to get the rescue chopper in. So, wow, that's a chopper and a half, man. That's cool. Beautiful.